Belarus presidential election. Who's taking on Lukashenko? Does it matter? Belarus stands at a crossroads with Alexander Lukashenko, often dubbed Europe's last dictator, seeking yet another term. For nearly 30 years, Lukashenko's rule has shaped the nation's destiny. But with growing tension, we ask, does this election signal change or the same old story? Lukashenko's dominance isn't easily challenged. The opposition has been silenced, jailed, or exiled. Critics call the election a sham designed to secure his grip on power. But beyond the surface, there's a simmering desire for transformation. Can this be ignored any longer? From the outside, it looks like a democratic process with candidates and campaigns, but dig deeper, and the cracks show. Prominent opposition leaders have been barred, leaving Belarusian citizens with few real choices. Can meaningful change arise amid such tight control? This isn't the first time Belarus has faced such a situation. The 2020 election sparked protests that swept the nation, streets filled with people demanding fairness despite brutal crackdowns. Has the regime learned to control dissent, or has dissent grown stronger? Hope lives on with figures like Svetlana Tikhanovskaya. Exiled yet defiant, she represents the unyielding voice of resistance. Her call to reject the legitimacy of this election resonates with Belarusians hoping for a freer future. Can voices outside the country shape events within? Opposition activists are fighting battles on multiple fronts. Inside Belarus, where repression reigns, and abroad, where they rally international support. Their courage keeps hope alive. Is it enough to dismantle a decades-old regime? How has one man held power so tightly for 30 years? Lukashenko's arsenal includes fear, propaganda, and ruthless repression. Elections are staged, media is controlled, and those who dissent face swift consequences. Yet even the strongest grip can weaken over time. Mass protests over the years have proven one thing: the people's will is resilient. The question is whether this election will ignite new uprisings or deepen despair. As public dissatisfaction with the regime grows, how much longer can Lukashenko maintain control? The world is watching Belarus. The EU, the US, and other global powers have long condemned Lukashenko's human rights abuses. Sanctions aim to pressure change, but their impact is slow. What more can be done to support the Belarusian people's fight for freedom? International monitoring remains minimal, and the lack of transparency casts a shadow over election legitimacy. Diaspora communities are raising awareness, but will the global community step up to demand accountability? And does Belarus's political future hinge on their involvement? From students to seasoned activists, Belarusians are finding creative ways to resist. Public protests may be dangerous, but underground movements and social media campaigns keep the dream of change alive. These whispers turn into roars that challenge Lukashenko's dominance. The youth in Belarus are especially vital to the resistance. With fresh energy and dreams for a democratic future, their efforts are shaping a new narrative. They refuse to accept the status quo. How far can they go under constant government surveillance? This isn't just about Belarus, it's about the global battle for democracy. Rigged elections and repression anywhere threaten democratic values everywhere. As we watch this election unfold, it forces us to ask, what can the global community do to prevent autocracy from spreading? Belarus's geopolitical importance cannot be ignored. Locked between Russia and the EU, its trajectory will impact neighboring nations and international stability. Whether through protests or diplomacy, the outcome of this election touches more than just Belarus. This election is about more than one vote, it's about a nation's soul. The people of Belarus are faced with a choice: endure another term of Lukashenko, or take risks that could reshape history. The outcome depends not just on ballots, but on the courage found in everyday acts of defiance. Belarus stands on the cusp of potential transformation. Will power shift, or will history repeat itself? As Lukashenko seeks to solidify his reign, the nation watches, and so does the world. The struggle for freedom demands vigilance, action, and hope. The fight for democracy in Belarus affects us all. Share their story, amplify their voices, and demand action from global leaders. Follow Belarusian activists, support independent media, and stand with those fighting for freedom. Real change begins when we all rise together. Will you?